Okay, so back to working on the tractor. Went to pick myself up a new pulley because I was going to use a 7-inch, but if I use a 7-inch, it's just not going to have enough motion on the clutch to disengage and re-engage. So I was going to go a 5.5 just to be sure, but I ended up going with a 6. The only way to find out is weld it up and try it. So this is a 6-inch. Now as for the belt size, I decided I'm going to go with a 5/8. Fearless Front is using a 1/2-inch belt and an 89-inch if I remember right. So I'm going 5/8 and an 88. Might end up having to change that out. A bigger belt's going to ride actually up higher, which means I might actually have to go up to a 90-inch. So I'm going to see what I can do with this one. That's all I could find local without having to special order something or to search around. I'm kind of too lazy to drive around for 2 days trying to find a belt. So I'll see what I can do with that. And of course you got your belt adjuster right there on the tractor. So if I put that into the lowest setting possible, see what happens. There you go. Just gave her a quick tack just to make sure everything's lined up. Had it stuck her in the vise. A lot of times you can just weld it like this, as long as it's pushed down, tack it. But you know, one tack on each side. Or another way you could do it is in a vise with something like that over top that, and then squeeze it in the vise. You know, it'd be good, but in this case I just tacked it with it sitting on top of the vise just like that. Made sure it was of course well seated. Then before I welded anymore, should put it on the opposite way. Just give me a second. It's getting a little bit warm in my hand just from those 2 tacks. There we go. That'll be perfect. Okay, that's all I want to double check just before I welded her. A little bit hot. Anyway, now I'll weld her up and there you go. Like I said, doing a quick job. So might look ugly, but hell, I've seen people that just tacked them, like a little tack here, a little tack there, and the same with the other side that handled like 20 horsepower. So, yep, that's never going to move. So, go and give her a quick shot of, what's wrong? Oh, that's high temp. Quick shot of some kind of mystery paint, and I'll go from there. So, sweet. Jacked it up, and man, I don't know if I want that front end being able to pivot that much. You see that wheel's almost I would say probably 8 inches off the ground there. So I'm going to weld it, I think, not solid, but I'm kind of thinking the idea of using a rubber bump stops in between the front end, just so it doesn't quite tilt that much. Right now I'm gutting the wiring. I'm going to be removing this whole top section here, make it easier to put on the belt. I don't really need to put on the belt, but I'm going to be removing all my ground cables, pretty much gutting this entire section here. And after that, all my safety switches, which are not going to be hooked up or anything, they're all being removed. And yeah, pull that off, and still seat shopping, trying to find a good seat. I've seen quite a few different options. I just don't know what I want to really do yet. Kind of thinking of going, well, not quite a hardtail, but there's one I'm looking at that has a box underneath it, so a storage box, but then the seat only sits on springs. Now, if I gear this thing to go as fast as, you know, I'm gearing it to go as fast, it might be nice to have some suspension there. So, as you can see, these tires here are, that wasn't what it sounded like. As you can see there, those tires are pretty well dry rotted. I got a set of 26-inch on order. So 26 by 11 by 12s. These factory are 23 by 10 by 12, or 10.5 by 12. So yeah, I might have to move my fenders because my gas tank indents here. Not too sure yet. If I got to lift the fenders up, it's not that big of a deal. Maybe I'll even run it without fenders, you know, make it a little bit more dangerous. So, as for my wet sandblaster, tried playing with it the other day. It's actually buried in there. And I got to get the pressure release valve fixed on the pressure washer before I can start doing that. Because I was going to sandblast the tractor, so But maybe that might have to wait till spring. Maybe I'll just get it running for now. Okay, so I just gutted the wiring off her and a few other things. That battery box, don't think I'll be using that one. I might. I know that's what holds the hood up, so if I do decide to change it, I'll have to weld something up to hold the hood. Also took off all the deck components, so of course none of those I need anymore. Yeah, taking weight off might be bad when I want to use it for a plow tractor, but I got plans to make a weight box on the back. So you can see there, gutted. I need to bring it outside, give it a pressure wash. Okay, so I ended up bringing back my belt and getting an 86-inch belt. I had an 88 before. Again, 5/8 belt. So belt's on. I checked it. Everything clears fine. It's aligned fine. For now, I'm going to leave the stock spring set up. It's sure easy to get to on this tractor, the belt drive. So that's once you take out the battery box. So for now, I'm going to try it like that. I am not going to put back in the battery box until I try it. Make sure it's not slipping or anything. Might be a little bit of slippage because I did paint the pulley when I put it together. So you can see, painted. So, turn it over for anyone that cares about the part number on the belt. Got the compression release on. It's coming up in a few seconds here. It's upside down, but anyway. 5/8, 86-inch. Anyway, I know Fearless Front is using a 1/2-inch belt, and he says it doesn't slip. Doesn't give him any problems, but I just decided by looking at the back pulley, I really can't see how a 1/2 inch would actually work because it's not that deep. So I guess it might, or it is on his. Maybe he has a different back pulley set up, hard to say. Okay, so I'm back to working on the tractor. Just spent a few days checking out the hunting trails, stuff like that. Today is Saturday, or I mean Sunday, and I think it's the 28th if I remember right. So anyway, today I'm going to weld up the exhaust. I did get my new tires in, but the seller, for some odd reason, sent me one 16-inch and one 18-inch tire. So I'm going to work with him. I could just send back the 16-inch, but what I'm going to do is have him send me one of each more, and I'll put the 18s on the front here, and the 16s will go on my Sears SS16, and maybe I'll run out and grab those tires and show you what they look like, but they're just standard, pretty much snowblower tires. Grab those in a little bit. I'm just eyeballing this up right now. Got the jack just to kind of hold the tires so they sit level, because yeah, these tires are completely shot. As you can see, the belt's on and everything. Kind of lining this up to where I want it. Then I'm going to tack it, take it off, and weld it up fully. So anyway, freaking muffler, I already see there's a couple leaks in it. Right there, it's leaking. There's a little pinhole right here, it's leaking. And when it started, it actually kind of puffs out of that little pinhole, so that kind of sucks, but whatever. I think for a $60 muffler, it, you know, wouldn't have any leaks in it, but it does. So looks like that's sitting pretty much straight up and down right there. Of course, I got to make some braces and stuff, but for now, I'm just going to weld it up, clearance the hood, put my hood bracket back on. I still got the leak to fix on the injection pump there. So, and technically right now it's running and driving. It's just I don't have a seat on it. So, and it seems to be pretty decent there. So I'll start tacking that exhaust and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. And there we go. Just tacked it on the top here. And welded the top of that. It looks like shit again, but again, it's an exhaust. You try to weld it too nice, you'll probably burn through, especially with an antique MIG welder like that one, and flux core. So, again, I'm going to repaint the entire exhaust. I think I'm going to patch that leak there and this leak right here. That guy. Anyway, I just got designed where I want my bracket to go. I'm thinking I'm going to go from these two holes here, or this hole just up to there. Just one bracket might be good enough, not too sure yet. Well, my ass is a little bit officially sore. Just took her for a little bit of a test ride without a seat. Never ever will I try doing that again. Freaking thing has crazy torque. Brakes work good, especially without a seat. That's a little bit tricky. No throttle hooked up or anything yet, so yeah, I'm still leaking diesel. I'm just hoping that whoever had that injector pump apart there did not cross thread it, but anyway, everything seems to be good on it. I just put a little bit of air in the tires. And now I just gotta decide on where to brace up my exhaust. Okay, so I decided how I'm going to do this exhaust. This bracket's just going to go down to that one bolt hole, which is, there's no bolt in there, but it'll bolt right through here. Then I'm thinking I might put a space, something from the bottom across here. I don't know how thin this is going to be to weld, so that might end up being a disaster. Anyway, if I go from the bottom piece like that, thinking I might even put a little piece of angle iron in between here. Probably don't need it, but yeah, that's most likely going to be all I need. Another option was to go from those two bolt holes right here, and I was thinking running something to this after. So one piece from there straight to this. So I don't know if it ever cracks or breaks. Technically, I can re-weld it. I just don't want to snap these the head on this machine. Even though heads are pretty cheap, I just don't want to go through the hassle of having to change one. So anyway, time for the fun part. And for anyone that cares, that's what I'm using as a fire blanket. Just to tack it in place, then the whole assembly will be removed to brace it up. So whatever. I know diesel feels pretty hard to catch on fire, but I do not need to take a chance. Well, there you go. Exhaust is all welded up. You see my wacky ass brackets there. Anyway, that exhaust is pretty thin. I also welded up where it was leaking there and right there. So factory was leaking on the seams. So anyway, time to give her a quick cleaning and then I'll paint her, and I'm just going to paint it black. So anyway, get back to you guys I guess in a bit, and then I'll most likely start trying to find that leak on the injector, but I'm not too worried about that at this moment. Well, the exhaust is finished here, just curing the paint so I could do a second coat. Got a few spots that I need to touch up, so I'm just using my heat gun. Has a lot of flow on the other side. This heat gun here has done probably 4 quad exhausts. There's a bunch of dirt bike mufflers, and it hasn't burnt out yet, so hey, whatever. If it burns out, I'll worry about it then. It was like freaking maybe 15 bucks on sale. It's a Mastercraft. So, Canadian Tire. Anyway, after that, I'm going to give it one more coat after about 10 more minutes of this, and then yeah, I'll install it and bolt it up, and hopefully everything's nice and sturdy after that. So, anyway, get back to you guys probably in about half an hour. Well, and there we go. No more exhaust vibration whatsoever. The only thing vibrating now actually is the whole tractor kind of bouncing back and forth. So. Maybe I'll give it one good rev, see some smoke, you know what I mean. That filled the garage up with smoke, so I might need to, I don't know, the belt seems to flop around a fair bit, but even on my other one it does, so, I don't know, I know it drives fine, so I'll shut it off now. Well, anyway, as you can see, I still got the exhaust, or the fuel leak to fix. If I don't fix that, it'll keep on sucking air, and smoking a little bit more than always because of that. But yeah, that exhaust is done. Seems to be melted pretty decent. So got it melted right here and right on the bottom. Sure, when I mount my hood latches and everything, I'll have to bolt them in between, but there should be plenty of threads left. Yeah, she is just pissing there. So again, got to pull the injector apart. Hopefully it's not cross-threaded by the old owner, but even if it is, injectors are cheap. So I can get one shipped, I think about 75 bucks. I've seen some for about 100 and something, but those were original Yanmar, where this is, you know, clone. So yeah, I don't have the flapper on top of the exhaust. Don't know if I'm actually going to run that, because that kind of directs the exhaust at me, where this goes straight up in the air. So anyway, I think I'll put it away for tonight. It's only 7:30 and then it's already getting dark out. That kind of sucks. So anyway, that is it for today.